All right. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm going to take a minute and talk about this topic, active listening and really developing more awareness. This is a big topic. I feel like there's a lot to discuss, but I'm going to just hone in on three key things that you can think about when you want to work on this topic. And before I do that, I also want to mention this weekend I got a great lineup of classes coming your way. I'll be teaching two classes. The first one on Friday is Amazing Grace. I decided I want to break down this thing in second position, lower and upper register, but then also talk about first position and how it lays out in each register of first position. So a G and a C harp. I'll have some tablature for second, and then I'll help you decode first. We'll talk about the combination of ear training and mathematics, sort of using a chart versus ear training, or combining the methods to understand how to do these things on your own without having to search for tablature. You can do it. Anybody at any level can do that. And then the second class on Saturday is called the Front Porch Blues Harp class, part 2. And that's going to be awesome because if you remember, I did a video a long time ago called the 3-hole shuffle. That's easy for me to say. And the 3-hole shuffle was this concept built off the 3-hole outlining 12-bar blues. Well, I'm going to break that down in detail much more than what I did in the video and have notes on a step-by-step process on how to do that. That little thing sounds like this. And so on. You can start to take it from that core essential riff and rhythm combination and build in bass lines. You can build in riffs. So I'm going to get into detail on how to do that. And then what else? So there's a package deal in the video description. If you want to learn more, if you just want to buy one of the other classes, just go to the homepage, harmonica123.com. You'll find everything there, the package deal, the individual. But I put a link in the video description. So that's what's going on this weekend. The package deal ends tomorrow. So if you do want that, don't wait. It ends tomorrow. So let's talk about our topic. Our topic at hand today is getting into active listening and really awareness. Developing that musical awareness requires a little effort, but not as much as you think. So there's three key topics that I'll hone in on. One is slowing down the learning process, slowing down what you're doing when you're trying to acquire information for the first time. When you're first working on something, it's imperative that you don't ingrain musical memory that is incorrect or muscle memory that is not correct, which is what happens when you go too fast. You think you're getting it right, but you're playing it off, and then that's what you're learning. So by slowing down, that means I'm going to give you this big tip. When you slow down, grab a metronome. If you are afraid that you are getting ahead of yourself and you're not sure, the metronome will be there to keep you on track. Good morning, everybody that's tuning in, or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. So what I want to say to you is, I didn't use a metronome when I was developing musically. I didn't practice with one, but as a teacher, I see the value now of taking that metronome and setting it to the pace that I feel is going to be nice and easy for me to really accomplish the pattern, the scale, the melody I'm playing, so that I can't get ahead of myself. And step 2 ties into that, recording both audio and video. What is the advantage of recording audio and video? It seems obvious to me, and I think for a lot of people, they get it. The big advantage is you can go back and listen to it and take notes, and you can see what was working, what wasn't working, and start to get a process down that's going to work for you to target the areas where you need the most help. So record yourself. That's the best. Look at what happened. I started a YouTube channel in 2006, but these videos that I've been posting serve as a record of my own development, and I can go back and say, yeah, I can hear that thing that really wasn't working, and now I can hear what I'm doing differently with this particular technique or melody that I'm playing. It's invaluable. And part of the process of recording means evaluation and adjusting and updating your notes of where you are and what your process is. So if you're not using the full picture of that recording process to get something out of it, do that. And the final one is visualization. That means a couple things to me. One is just writing it down. the act of writing stuff down makes a huge difference. So I would encourage you to write your ideas out in a little diary or notebook that where you keep blues licks or melodies or scales. Write it out. There's something about the act of physically not typing it. Typing it can be helpful too, but I do both. Something about writing it out in your own handwriting. And if you're like, I have terrible handwriting, okay, well, slow down. Or type it, but then try to write some of it, if as long as you can read it. Something about the act of writing it down and visualizing a couple things. That means musical visualization, like when I'm playing first position, Amazing Grace, I'm visualizing the pattern the notes create. So I'm watching the pattern go. And when I play and switch that to second position, especially if I didn't switch, well, either way, even if I switched keys to play it in the same key, I went to a C harp to play it in G again, while this first position in G, the pattern of the melody is completely changing. So I'm visualizing that new set of pattern that's emerging. But it also means visualizing yourself doing something the way in which you want it to come out. Mentally, sort of the art of hearing and seeing yourself the way that you want to play and how you want to grow as a musician. You got to almost pretend like it's already happening correctly. Today in a lesson, we were talking about that, how you have to, there was a note that was hanging up this individual, and I said, hey, just pretend, just go through the motions and assume the note's going to come out right. And this sort of, it ties into visualization, because what you're doing is you're telling your brain, hey, I got this. And even though it doesn't third and fourth time, all of a sudden it starts to click, and it's like, oh, it's following my mental process. So don't doubt yourself. Don't get down on yourself when you're not where you want to be. Use these steps. Slow down, record, and visualize. Those are the big tips I have for you today. Cool. Glad you're going to sign up. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Going to get serious in 2023 about putting time in and really need to get good habits in a plan. Well, make these 3 a part of your plan. Stepping back is a really good idea, Alan, and going back to the beginning. Stepping away from here, there's another good one you can integrate for awareness, and this ties into the whole topic of awareness, musical awareness, and all of it, which is a break. Literally just stepping back and not playing for a few days or a week or so and coming back into the process. That is something that can really energize you when you get back in, because maybe you're hitting a wall and like you're living with that energy of this isn't working and you're just trying your hardest, but it's not. Step away from it. I know that when I've taken breaks over the years, I come back vitalized, revitalized, and more engaged and creative and energetic. So plus, like you said, you can go back to basics. You can go back to your foundational work and say, hey, what do I really need to be doing? All right, let me jump. Let's see. Well, I'll stick with this G harp. And the final thought, I guess, to me, this idea of active listening, because I've talked more about musical awareness, but active listening is sort of an angle of all of this. You're active listening to the music, you're studying other players, and active listening means that you're really trying to focus in on a particular angle, typically at first, of listening. It can be broad or it can be narrow, and active listening can also apply to yourself. When you're playing and you're really focused in the moment, you can listen to yourself in a way that is almost like you're listening to yourself like you're a different player, like you're outside of yourself listening. And when you can get tapped into that zone, it's powerful. So I just want to encourage you guys to keep thinking about this, all of how all of this is interconnected. Another cool thing in this Amazing Grace class is that while we have the notes that make up the melody, there are also additional notes, just like a singer would bring into their phrasing, I'm not going to try to really sing it, but if you said Amazing Grace, I guess I am going to try versus amazing, did a run, right? Amazing Grace, and you had the ability to get your voice to really do all that, not like what I'm demonstrating here. It's easy with the harp to do things like that. So I'm going to show you where we put these little extra notes in to evolve the phrasing of something like this beautiful melody, Amazing Grace, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, writing it out does. It sticks it in your memory. Just like when you write a goal down, it just makes it sort of somewhere hardwired into your brain that this is happening. We're doing this, you know? It's the same thing. Well, that's a really good point, Rod. And yes, Rocket Girl, music looper to break down the tune and then write it all down in tabs by hand. That's great. Whatever works for you is if the process, if you're evolving, then hey, then it's working. 50 years of bad playing habits I'll have to focus on as a new player. Kind of yes and no. So Rod, I don't know you. I don't believe we've met, but like I would predict that after 50 years, yeah, maybe some bad habits have developed, but maybe some good ones have developed too. So don't throw out everything. What's the expression? Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater or whatever. Don't assume it's all gone. I hope that's the right expression. I think it is. But like, you may find that you just need to have core things adjusted, and by adjusting those things, you'll shift other areas of your playing and improve them. In other words, they're not totally broken. But it's never a bad idea to go back to the foundation. So head back to the foundation. And for those that didn't see my last live stream just the other day, I've put some timestamps in there. Go check that out. There's some good little nuggets in there, stories that I told, and some tips on vibrato and tips on all sorts of other things, bending and some jams. It was a good little live stream, so check that out. And thanks for tuning in midday here. According to my analytics, a lot of people are online between like 12 and 1:30 or 2 my time. I think that's my time. So right now it's 1:47 p.m. locally here where I am. I figured I'd jump on and see what's going on. I really can't wait for this weekend. I got some great things to share. So if you're interested, go to harmonica123.com, look on the homepage, or check the video description of this video. And y'all make it a great day. I'll see you soon.